Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. We're both in a little bit of a mood, so folks, things might get a little spicy on this show today. We're first going to talk about a stressed out and haggard-looking Donald Trump making videos of himself, begging for money so, as he says, he can fight the communists and the fascists and lunatic prosecutors, and please just give me money. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, or as the Daily Mail refers to it, the glamorous Alina Habba, celebrated her 40th birthday in St. Bart's. And as part of this birthday, she gave everybody unique Dior gift bags. She stayed at a five-star resort and villas, and we'll show you all of that. And they've been posting videos celebrating with the champagne bottles. Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia, you done well. I mean, she's out there partying as she just lost a $464 million judgment in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case, an $83.3 million judgment in the E. Jean Carroll case. We'll break it down. Also, you've got President Biden just hammering Donald Trump in ad after ad, mocking Donald Trump for just sitting at Mar-a-Lago and doing nothing as President Biden is crisscrossing the nation, going to all swing states and talking about actual issues. And as Donald Trump is there sitting in Mar-a-Lago, he's now attacking the Justice Juan Merchan's daughter by attacking a fake X account that actually doesn't belong to Justice Juan Merchan's daughter, exactly like Donald Trump did with Justice Engoron, where they kind of made up a fake account for Justice Engoron's wife and then said Engoron's wife was posting photos about Trump, which was not the case. And here the court administrator, PR person, had to once again say that that account does not belong to Justice Merchan's daughter. But again, here you go again, Michael Cohen, attacking the wives, the daughters, the family members. Oh, how you doing, sir?
You know, I'm trying to keep it all together. You know, it never stops with this group of animals. So you may have seen, the other day that Judge Merchan, he passed that gag order, that partial gag order. And my curiosity is what's going to happen if and when, and we know it's not a matter of if, but when, and can we already make the statement that the attacks on Judge Merchan's daughter is already a violation of that gag order? But wait, there'll be more, right? I feel like an infomercial. I'm curious as to what Merchan will ultimately do, because we've seen other judges, including Engoron. And look, I have absolute total respect for them and the system. But so far, a lot of people turn around and said, one more time, just one more time. And then he's like, yeah, all right. And your daughter's the next. Or this one is that. Or he starts going after witnesses. Or, I'm dying to see what will ultimately happen and how far Merchan will actually hold this guy to the gag order. And I bring this up, Ben, simply because, and Brigaders, you may have seen that an article was written yesterday and put out there. It blew my mind when friends started sending it to me. And here's the latest. There you go. Whistleblower. Avenatti alleged that Stormy and I had the affair, that it wasn't Donald, it was I, and that since 2006, and that the two of us created this pre-2016 Trump extortion plan. And it's a guy that worked with Avenatti named Tony Saruga. I have no idea what this guy does. All I know is that he was associated to Avenatti. But this guy puts out there the story. OANN, runs with this story. It's really it's amazing to think that anybody could possibly, as I said, if you believe this story, I have not one, but two bridges to sell you. here in New York. All right. Let me tell you why this thing is so stupid, other than the fact it's absolutely asinine. And I cannot tell you how right-wing media has been running with this as if, oh, fuck it, bombshell, news explosion, right? Cohen and Stormy have been planning this extortion on Trump since 2016. First of all, where that's insane is when Trump first met Stormy in 2005, something like that, at the Utah golf outing. I wasn't even working for Trump. I didn't even know anything about this. I didn't learn about this until 2011, right? I mean, that's the craziest. I should sue. I should sue for defamation. But putting all of that aside, imagine this. There I am, executive vice president of the Trump organization and special counsel to Donald, making all of these allegations that Trump is worth 10 billion, 12 billion, whatever the amount of money is, and I'm going to extort a presidential candidate, or at the time when they're saying that I was extorting him was around right before the election. I'm going to extort this uber mega billionaire for $130,000. I mean, just think about how stupid that is. And I was saying last night, because guys like Jonathan Turley, who's another asshole, they all sit there, they all want to jump in, and they want to everybody wants to give their opinions. This is hands down the stupidest. And I actually hope that it's a defense that they try to use at the upcoming trial, because all I can tell you is, that I do have a pretty decent sense of humor. I've got a ton of things that I would like to say to a jury sitting in that jury box regarding this nonsensical conspiracy theory. I mean, by the way, assuming, right, that my affair is with Stormy Daniels, well, did I also have the affair with Karen McDougal? Was I also with Billy Bush sitting in the bus talking about grabbing women by their pussy? Was I the one that E. Jean Carroll pointed out and said he sexually assaulted me at a department store? How stupid can these people be? Let me tell you, though, Ben and Brigaders, what it tells me. And I know the Mandarin Mussolini, right? The orange Jesus. He's scared. And this is what Donald and his sycophantic followers do when they're desperate and afraid.
When we talk about Alina Habba in a bit, this lavish party that she threw in St. Bart's, for her, she may also be viewing it as her last dance, as part of this bigger and broader grift. Let's go out on a bang right here with all of the money that she's made. And we'll talk about that more in a bit. But when you talk about, Michael Cohen, these unhinged conspiracies, our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski at MeidasTouch.com, he just kind of posted the following, listing some of the recent unhinged conspiracies that have a life of their own now on Elon Musk's social media platform and right-wing media, without any retractions at all. This is the modern-day MAGA Republican Party. There's a car crash near the Canadian border. It's migrant terrorists, a migrant invasion. It was actually a guy coming back from a casino. The Buffalo mass shooting, they claim, is a false flag. The bridge disaster, what do they say? It's a terrorist attack. The Super Bowl parade shooting, it's a migrant terrorist. It's an American. The Gonzaga hoops team bus was traveling. The MAGA Republicans go, migrant invasion. This is the level and depth of the disinformation and lies that are pumped out. And basically, they create right-wing media and the modern-day Republican Party a completely alternate reality where these MAGAs live and exist in this reality. And ultimately, the final push here, though, for this fear, for the terror, you always got to follow the money. Follow the money. Because with all of this fear, they push you to Give us the money. We're going to protect you. We're
And
going to
Ben,
protect you. This was
Ben,
Donald Trump.
Ben,
Yeah.
we are literally 2 weeks away from the start of the very first criminal trial ever against a former president of the United States. And out of nowhere, this horse shit comes in. Now, I happen to be very fortunate in that I'm going on 30 years of marriage. All right. And, when Matt Gaetz tried to do this to me right before my testimony of the House Oversight Committee hearing, it didn't jog us. It didn't jog my wife at all. However, I will tell you what it does.
Your wife would be like, I know your wife would be like, good luck with that, Cohen.
Well, and I mean, it did not, it didn't phase her when I showed it to her. But I will tell you that we probably got, a couple of dozen phone calls from people. Where is this coming from? Whistleblower. And the fact that they use the word whistleblower, right? The fact that they use that, they do that because that's supposed to be the buzzword for legitimacy. That this isn't coming from some unnamed source. This is coming from a whistleblower. Could you imagine this? And the article goes on, and it goes into all of these conversations about Avenatti telling this guy Saruga, and that that they kept it to themselves, and then it's the article in and of itself is discombobulating, but it's designed in order to try to demonstrate some level of legitimacy to it. And the worst part is that media outlets from other media outlets, they start calling and sending me text messages. Hey, do you have a response to the article put out by OANN regarding your affair with Stormy Daniels? And again, the only thing that I can say, if you believe any aspect of that story, I have 2 bridges in New York to sell you. I mean,
Michael
it
Cohen,
just,
I want to
to
show
me,
you.
it reeks of Trump desperation.
Speaking of reeking of Trump desperation, we previously reported about Donald Trump now endorsing and selling official Trump-endorsed Bibles for $59.99, and the pages may indeed be very sticky, so you got to watch out for those sticky pages. That's on the frequently asked questions part, as well as no refunds. But the day after Donald Trump made this video, here's a stressed out and haggard-looking Donald Trump pleading with people, his Magadonians, to send him as much money as they can so he can fight the communist, fascist, and lunatic prosecutors. Play this clip.
But these Soros-backed prosecutors and politicians, Democrats, all that are after us, we have to go out, we have to fight. They're communists, they're fascists, they're lunatics, and they just don't stop. They don't know how to give up, and you got to hand it to them for that. But that's the only thing you got to give them credit for. They're bad people. They're against our country. They don't want our country to make it. There's something wrong with them. But we're fighting. We're winning. You see what's going on. So whatever you can do to help financially would be fantastic, because we have to beat it. If it's $5 or $10 or $100, whatever you can do.
Cohen, remember Billy Madison and that scene in the bathtub where he goes, "I'm shampoo. No, I'm conditioner. Stop looking at me, Swan." Like Donald Trump's basically making videos like, "I'm conditioner. No, I'm shampoo. I make your head nice."
But simultaneously, he's telling you how rich he is, that he doesn't need any money. He doesn't need any money. But then 3 seconds later, look at all the shit that he's hawking, right? It's not just Bibles. He's out there hawking NFTs. He's out there. Anything that he could, sneakers, and not just the ugly gold pair, but the red ones and the white ones. I mean, there's nothing that this guy won't slap his name onto if there's a buck in it for him. And remember, I like how he talks about, my good buddy, what's his name, Lee Greenwald or whatever the guy's name is. Greenwood, yeah, and so on. This is a guy, by the way, I don't know if you've ever seen her, and she's fantastic. There's a girl, Stella, I think, on a TikTok or whatever it is, but she did this whole thing about Trump holding the Bible, and then she opened it and she decided to read some passages. Could you imagine, between Greenwood and Trump, right? What could be more Christian than the fact that the two of them together have 7 wives? Fidelity. And then she goes on and she starts talking about the 7 sins, each one of the sins: lying, cheating, stealing, etc., infidelity. Every single one of these is something that is regularly done by Von Schitzenpants and Greenwood and the rest of these maggots.
Well, you mentioned Lee Greenwood. Look, MeidasTouch.com did an investigative piece on our website, MeidasTouch.com. I did a video this morning on our YouTube channel that many of you may have seen. You know, the Bibles that Donald Trump is selling with Lee Greenwood, they've actually been around for about 2 years, and they've received a lot of customer complaints for not shipping on time, months and months passing, the Bibles not being in like good shape. And so we took a deep dive into this and looked at it like, look, Donald Trump, whether we like it or not, and it not for me, is a former president of the United States. So who are you doing deals with? That's important, right? If you think about giving somebody things like the nuclear codes and command over troops. So who are you doing business with? To me, that should be bipartisan. That shouldn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Who do you surround yourself with? And when you're not in office, who are the types of people that you go, that's the person I want to do a deal with? So Lee Greenwood was making videos of himself regarding these Bibles. This is the company Trump partnered with, where he was quite literally selling these Bibles back in December of 2023, not a long time ago, from the back of his truck. And he was trying to show people, look, we're getting you. I know your orders are here. We're going to make sure we fulfill your orders. And it's Greenwood himself folding the things and putting the Bibles together himself that Trump is now selling. Here, play this first clip of Greenwood.
Hi, this is Lee Greenwood. And as you see, we're doing our very best to sign all these Bibles that have been requested and get them out to me before Christmas. God bless you all. Have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Okay, and here's another one of that. Here, play this clip of him putting it in his trunk. Play this clip.
Well, it's 12:30 in the morning, and these are going to the post office right now. Shipping our Bibles to you. Merry Christmas.
Well, here's the photo. Here's the photo of Donald Trump saying, "Order today the God Bless the USA Bibles for $59.99." There it is. And then we have a bunch of 1-star customer reviews that say if we could give 0 stars, we would. But Michael Cohen, again, that's why I always say, look, I don't view this network actually as being like, okay, you guys are Democratic, you're a liberal, I go, look, I'm normalcy. I'm team pro-democracy. That's what I am. Okay, what I'm looking at there, not normal, very weird, should be absolutely disqualifying, and every media network should be playing what we just played right there. Michael Cohen, I want to get your reaction to that, but I want to take I want to get your reaction, but I got to tease it a little bit. I know everyone's going to want to hear your reaction.
Oh, do I ever have one?
Let's take our first ad break of the show. We'll be right back.
Look, everybody in my house is always on a diet. We're always watching what we eat. And sometimes we eat good, sometimes not so good. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every single fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just, listen to this, in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals. 2-minute meals, they fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant quality meals that are ready to heat and eat wherever you are. Pancakes, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day. like breakfast, midday bites, and more. There's no prep, no mess meals. Factor meals, they're ready to heat and eat, so there's no prepping, no cooking or cleanup needed. And flexible for your schedule? Yeah, get as much or as little as you need by choosing your meals every week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. So sign up and save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and, more importantly, delicious. So head right now to factormeals.com/beatdown50 and use code beatdown50 to get a load of this, to get 50% off. That's code beatdown50 at factormeals.com/beatdown50 to get 50% off.
Are you self-conscious about your smile due to stains? Are your teeth aging you? Popular food and drinks are known to stain teeth. Beverages like coffee, tea, and wine stain them over time. So what can you do to brighten your smile? Well, you should give Smile Actives a try. Smile Actives is safe, effective, easy to use, and will keep you smiling proudly. As you probably already know, I'm a big tea drinker like many people. You may be a coffee drinker, and over time I noticed my teeth lose some of their brightness that I was used to seeing. 97% of Smile Actives users in a clinical trial reported up to 6 shades whiter on average, all within 30 days. Simply add Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel to your regular toothpaste. It's been formulated with polyclean technology to boost stain removal and deliver active whitening ingredients into the teeth's grooves and crannies to get better whitening. Smile Actives makes teeth whitening gel that can simply be added to your toothpaste every time you brush your teeth. So no change in your routine, no extra time, and no more messy strips, trays, or lights. People will start commenting on your whiter, brighter smile in just days. Smile Actives is the whitening boost your favorite toothpaste needs to give you the smile you deserve. Here's what you got to do. Visit smileactives.com/beat today to receive a special buy one, get one free offer with auto delivery plus free shipping and handling. That's smileactives.com/beat. SMILEACTIVES.com/beat, BEAT. Terms and conditions apply. See the site for details. Welcome back. Everyone was waiting on bated breath for Michael Cohen's reaction. They also got 2 great ad reads right there. Thank you to our pro-democracy sponsors. The discount codes are in the description below. That helps fund the show. So thank you to them. Some great products right there. Cohen, let me show you Donald Trump trying to sell these Bibles first. Let's play that clip if we got it.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood, who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. What can we do? Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again. And I think you all should get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others. There you have it.
That's the Bible. And then Cohen, this was from this past December. This is Lee Greenwood packing up these Bibles. Like, he's the person who works at his company doing this. Let's play that clip.
Hi, this is Lee Greenwood, and as you see, we're doing our very best to sign all these Bibles that have been requested and get them out to me before Christmas. God bless you all. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday.
The stage is yours, Mr. Cohen.
First of all, Lee looks like he's in his mom's basement, but that's a whole nother story there. It reminds me so much of, what's the movie? The Wedding Crashers. Like, Mom, more meatloaf, Mom. You know, he's yelling down upstairs to Mom, you know, while he's sitting there packing up these concocted Bibles that he made. But here's where I have a real issue. On top of everything, listen, Trump, there's nothing that Trump won't hawk, right, in order to make a buck. But the funniest thing, and nobody's really talking about it, some of the things that are included in this this King James USA Bible, right? The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. You have what else did they have in there? They also had
I think they had the Pledge of
national
Allegiance.
anthem. I mean, you know,
I'm not sure if it's the actual anthem or if it's the J6th anthem, which Donald Trump made. So
yeah, I'm not sure which one either. But somewhere along the line, they're forgetting that there is a fundamental separation of church and state, and people aren't really talking about it. It's almost like it's adding two mixtures together that should never be mixed together. You're not supposed to, the Bible stands on its own. And of course it stands on its own. It's Donald's favorite book, right? That, and of course Mein Kampf. But that's not the point. The point is, when you start taking religion and you couple it with the Constitution and documents regarding our democracy and freedom and America and so on, now you are mixing church and state. And that is a fundamental no-no, literally going back to the very, very, very early days of our founding fathers. That's where without the separation of church and state, you ultimately end up with something that looks exactly like that Netflix show, Gilead. It's where all of a sudden now democracy, the Constitution, laws are all predicated on theocratic principles. And that's not what American democracy is supposed to look like.
I'll make the one comment and give a disclaimer that we don't know for sure. Michael Cohen doesn't know for sure if Mein Kampf is actually Donald Trump's favorite book, but we certainly do know he makes a lot of quotes that certainly resemble statements that were made by Hitler.
All I was doing is repeating what allegedly Ivana has talked about in the past.
But we have a whole list at the Midas Touch where we show those comparisons, and a lot of them look very, very similar to the types of statements, the use of terms like vermin and things like that Hitler would say. Just speaking of all of this insanity, though, I want to pivot, if we even want to call it a pivot, to Alina Habba celebrating right now and basically mocking Mr. and Mrs. Macedonia. Habba's gotten paid. We know that because we've seen her disclosures, or Trump's financial disclosures, for the political action committees. In November of 2023, it was at least $3.5 million. And I would estimate right now, again, because that was before a lot of these other cases and trials, I would imagine that number, I don't know this, but my estimate is probably that's closer to about $5 million. Now, Alina Habba was not a talented lawyer before. She did like traffic ticket stuff and low-level stuff and, things involving parking garages and things like that. But she gets paid basically through through Trump's political action committees. The Save America PAC is the one that pays her there. And that's Mr. and Mrs. Macedonia. The Trump donors give Trump the money. Trump pays her. And now she's celebrating a very lavish vacation in St. Bart's. The Daily Mail took some of the photographs that she and her friends posted. That's her friend right there named Siggy Flicker on the left, who posts a lot of these photos. That's how we get it, because Siggy, that's her friend right there with this Chanel bag, she's the one kind of posting and bragging about the wealth that they have. And we see things like this. Siggy uploaded a picture that showed the gifts laid out on the table next to a series of Dior gift bags that were filled with more goodies. You saw the Chanel bag. Then we see that the group stayed at a private villa.
Wait. Can we halt that right there?
Eden Rock Hotel.
Do you notice that the very first terry cloth towel there, the bathrobe, has my initials on it? Do you think that Habba the Horrible actually got me a robe?
It looks like Alina Habba got Michael Cohen a robe. Let's pull that back up.
Wow.
Here's what it's being described as.
You know what? I've said so many mean things about her being talentless as a lawyer and having no idea what she's talking about, failing to check off a box that would have giving Trump the opportunity to have a jury instead of a bench trial. Maybe I should take some of it. No, I won't take it back. I don't need the robe. I don't need the
Look,
robe.
it is
That's
a very
awfully
nice
nice of
looking
her.
robe. It is a potential Christmas present that I will get you, one that looks just like this, or a Hanukkah present for you.
How
There,
nice of her.
very nice of her. But she provided all of the attendees with the headwear as well as personalized robes to wear on the trip. Let me just share you this clip as well. This is how Trump donor money is being put to good use in St. Bart's at Alina's birthday party. And this is video that, this isn't like we have a private investigator there taking this video. Like, they're posting this video. Here, play this clip. Cohen, that lunch right there probably cost more than what most Trump supporters make in an entire year. And that lunch right there is being funded by Social Security checks and by, the what could be rent money, from Mr. and Mrs. Macedonia, from their supporters. That's going to basically Alina Habba. Alina Habba makes the money, and that's what she's doing with it. Alina Habba, who also says this about whether she'd rather be smart, whether it's rather be intelligent or attractive. Play the clip.
So I'll tell you something. Somebody said to me, Alina, would you rather be smart or pretty? And I said, oh, easy, pretty. I can fake being smart.
And here's Alina Habba at Mar-a-Lago holding what appears to be a $70,000 Hermes Croc Birkin bag right there. And again, that bag alone, if it's an authentic one, which, who knows, but, it appears to be by many people who know these bags, but there are a lot of fake bags going on there, would be twice probably the salary of most of what Trump supporters make in a year. And just think about it. That's going on at Mar-a-Lago. I've described it, Cohen, as the reverse Robin Hood. Here, they steal from the poor and give to the rich. What do you make of
It's one thing if to show you how stupid she is. If this is the way that you're going to spend the money that you've gotten for fucking up every case that she's basically handled so far for Donald, she's just, she and her team, they've just fucked it up. Right now, to go ahead and to flaunt the fact that you've taken money from MAGA supporters, from Trump supporters, and you are spot on there, Ben. These folks don't have that kind of money. They're not walking around with $70,000 crocodile Hermes Birkin bags. They're not. All right. And then to flaunt it on top of everything, it's really, again, it's grotesque. Now, I have such a hard time believing that whether it's Trump, because he doesn't pay any of the bills, or whether it's the RNC that's flipping some of it, or the super PAC. The super PAC right now has no money. And they're trying to get money back from another super PAC that they gave that was supposed to not work in tandem with them, but they do work in tandem. That everything with them is so schmadrade. It's so corrupt and dirty that you can't figure it out. And our problem is we have become numb. Truthfully, as America, Republican, Democrat, undecided, we are all numb to the level of stupidity, arrogance, ignorance that this MAGA group, that Trump and the Habbas and the Matt Gaetz, the Josh Hawleys, the Lauren Handjob Hobarts and the Marjorie Toilet Greens, all of them, we're so up to our neck. We're up to our neck in this Trump derangement syndrome that it is absolutely, nothing shocks us anymore. Nothing. Listen, go to St. Bart's. I love St. Bart's. It's a wonderful place to go with friends and family, and you have a great time. But to sit there and to, after they're taking the money from people, as you said, and rightfully so, these folks don't have the money to go to St. Bart's. But then to flaunt it right now into people's faces. I mean, now she's buying Chanel bags for everybody, and hats and robes and so, all to, think about it, no different than Donald von Schitzenpants, to celebrate her, right? This isn't about celebrating a massive win. Like, you know who should be celebrating right now? Tish James should be the one celebrating in St. Bart's with a bunch of friends, buying them stuff off of just the interest, the one-day interest of $115,000 a day. Yeah. On behalf of New York, I say, Tish, take a bunch of your friends, treat them there. Take a private plane for all I care. You just added $500 million to the coffers of the great state of New York. Instead, Haba's out there spending other people's money, because she certainly didn't do her job, that's for sure. She's spending the poorest people's money in America that is supporting a guy, a narcissist, so that she could be a narcissist, and she can do what? She can celebrate herself. Very humble. By the way, very Bible, right? I mean, I'm certain that there's got to be something there in that King James Bible about, sort of sticking it right into the ass of all of your supporters.
It's very sticky pages, so and that page may be stuck together, and it may be hard to remove. I wouldn't advise Tish James to go take that private jet. I would still travel through regular business class or regular. That's how I would do it.
She did such a good job. My point being, she did such a good job in the handling of that case. I understand celebrating when you accomplish something really great.
And Cohen, you and I and the Brigaders, though, are not numb to this. I think legacy media is numb to this. And part of our mission together with the Brigaders, with the Midas Mighty out there, is to really kind of shake the country and wake them up. Notice, in the stories that you and I have covered so far, I would love to talk about policy issues. I'd love to get into the nooks and crannies of healthcare policy. But look, MAGAs want to take that away. MAGAs want to take away your Social Security. MAGAs want to take away your reproductive rights. And, we're not having nuanced, policy-based discussions, not because you and I don't want to have them. It's because the Republican Party no longer stands for any policy. It stands for one man. It stands for Donald Trump. And their behavior is just very weird, very dangerous. And it's this wannabe fascism. And so it is important that we call out the political landscape, the legacy media who tries to normalize this, that this is just another normal election between Democrats and Republicans. You know how I know it's not? There are DeSantis supporters who are Midas Touch supporters. There are Nikki Haley supporters who are Midas Touch supporters. There are a huge amount of independents who are Midas Touch supporters. And of course, there are progressive and liberals. There are so many people who disagree vehemently on so many issues who come together in this network and say, look, stalemate on that. Let's deal with democracy right now. Let's deal with normalcy right now. Alina Habba and this friend of hers, Siggy, whatever, that's weird. That's deranged. That's unhinged. Donald Trump out there grifting and selling Bibles for $59.99. That's unhinged. That's weird. Donald Trump changing the national anthem to the J6 anthem and calling insurrectionist hostages. That's unfathomable. That's despicable stuff. And so we just need to reflect and call that out, that that's the stuff that's not American. And all they have, all MAGA has, and Fox and right-wing media is to try to make you feel so scared with all of their lies, with all of their disinformation, that you just won't open up your eyes, and rather you'll feel that you're part of this whole victimhood with Donald Trump, and everyone's out to get you and everyone's trying to destroy you and deep state this. So really, what Political Beatdown is, what this network is a beatdown on disinformation and a wake-up call, shaking the country to say, we can't be numb. We have to be awake and alert to what is going on, and we have to protect and preserve our democracy. When we get back, I want to show Donald Trump threatening Justice Juan Merchan's daughter. I also want to talk about what President Biden is doing as the campaign is heating up. Let's talk about that and more. Let's take our last quick break of the show.
Guys, are you tired of your classic rough and rigid jeans crushing your groin? I mean, are you wearing oversized jeans that make you a laughing stock at the office or at the bar? Is your wife tired of you wearing sweats because you hate wearing jeans? Well, today's sponsor, The Perfect Jean, finally solved all of your denim difficulties. They make you look great, perfect fitting jeans that are as comfortable as sweatpants. The secret? It's a special denim fabric that's super soft and has the perfect amount of stretch so that you can squat, you can do yoga, or just sit around all day in them without ever wanting to take them off. They make 6 fits from skinny to thick and have a waist from 26 to 50 and lengths from 26 to 38. So big boys, short kings, tall dudes, and all of the rest, they got you. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use code BEAT15 or 15% off. So listen, everyone, The Perfect Jean is hands down my most comfortable pair of jeans that I've ever owned. I can actually move around in them and they fit great too. I couldn't recommend them enough. The Perfect Jean doesn't stop there though. They've revolutionized t-shirts as well. The Perfect Tee has just enough stretch to hide that beer belly while accentuating your arms and your chest for the flawless look. It's as soft as butter without shrinking in the wash like all of your other t-shirts. It's just perfect. The Perfect Jean always has free shipping, exchanges, and returns. You can have peace of mind knowing that your order is completely risk-free. It's finally time to stop crushing your groin in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Or listeners, get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code BEAT15 at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code BEAT15. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. So please, please support our show and tell them that I sent you. So forget your khakis and get The Perfect Jean at theperfectjean.nyc. Promo code BEAT15.
Cohen, I know you like those jeans a lot.
Yeah, I like the t-shirts also.
Tees good, jeans are good,
All
good stuff. That really good, and they support our pro-democracy network. So check that out. The discount codes are in the description below. Michael Cohen, President Biden is hitting back at Donald Trump and basically doing what you have to do with wannabe authoritarians and authoritarians. You got to mock them. You got to bring them down to size. Something that we do here on the Midas Touch Network as well.
Not
President
me, maybe
Biden's,
you.
What'd you say?
Not me, maybe you. I never
Maybe.
mock von Shits in pants.
You would never do such a thing. I think
It's
that's actually
absolutely beneath me.
I think that was
it's beneath our brigaders.
I mean, I think that was the nickname that Fred gave him anyway. So I don't think that you even came up with that at all. Here's President Joe Biden saying, "I'll tell you this. There's a difference between two candidates in this election." Let's play this new ad that came out by President Biden. It's good stuff.
With the president visiting 8 swing states in just 18 days. Throughout the month, Biden has crisscrossed the country. Visiting the Southwest, the Blue Wall, and the South. His campaign stops have focused on border security, reproductive rights, lowering health care and housing costs, as well as celebrating CHIPS and Science Act investment.
Just watching on audio during the music portion was Donald Trump playing golf and one of Donald Trump's social media posts where he bragged about winning his own golf tournament. Michael Cohen, what do you make of that new ad?
Yeah, not only did he win the club championship, but he won the senior club championship as well. And as I said the other day when we were on, could you imagine him standing in front of, and this is what he does. He stands in front of the entire crowd there over at Mar-a-Lago to congratulate himself on winning his own tournament and presenting to himself a beautiful glass vase that says Club Champion 2024, blah, blah, blah. And he'll get up inside. I just want to congratulate myself on winning again the tour, winning, this. I mean, it's truly pathetic if you think about it. First of all, if by chance you happen to own your own club, you shouldn't even be playing in it. And if you did, you shouldn't be winning it year after year after year. Who is it very much like on a minuscule level? It's identical to, say, Vladimir Putin, who ends up getting 90 to 92% of all of the vote, because it doesn't matter, who you vote for. All that matters is who's counting the vote. He controls who puts in what score. So, Ben, hypothetically, you come in with a 78, right, on your score, and that's the lowest score for the 18. All right, you play 8 under par, whatever. He now knows what that number is. He puts in a score of 77. I mean, it's remarkable. In fact, if you go to a couple of articles, he claims that he's got like a dozen holes in one, that he should actually be in the Guinness Book of World Records, because he has beaten out even Tiger Woods, who only has like half of that. You really have to give the guy a lot of credit for creating his own universe that exists in his head and getting others to buy into it.
He's got the entire Republican Party to buy into it, the entire right-wing media to buy into it. And that's, again, where I always say, like, okay, folks, this isn't normal. Like, I refuse to accept a world where things like this are normalized. This is dangerous and it's really weird, and we can't cover our eyes and close our ears to it. Speaking of which, I want to share with you right now, Michael Cohen and the Brigaders, the anatomy of a conspiracy and how Donald Trump wields these conspiracies to attack the judiciary. And specifically, Trump relies on people like Laura Loomer, who basically say that they're journalists, and then they go and report these really wild and frankly defamatory, in my opinion, kind of conspiracy theories about people. Here's what Laura Loomer says about Justice Juan Merchan's daughter. That's the judge who's presiding over the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case. Breaking: Judge Merchan's daughter, Lauren Merchan, just blocked me on X and locked her account after I exposed her profile picture that has President Trump, that's what Laura Loomer calls him, I don't call him that, behind bars. Then she goes and says, don't worry, Lauren, I archived your entire X account and screenshots are forever, you evil, then it says B word, hashtag Loomered, and then it shows this account. And I was thinking to myself, Cohen, where did I see this before? Oh, yes, 3 months ago from Laura Loomer about Justice Arthur Engoron, with also a Twitter account that was made up and did not belong to Justice Engoron's wife. Here's what Laura Loomer said when the other trial took place. Don't worry. We'll show that one in a second. We'll pull up Laura Loomer's now. It says, don't worry, B word. I archived your entire account before you could lock it or delete it. I have it all. hashtag Trump 2024. There it is right there. And then Trump took what Laura Loomer posted, and then he goes on his social media and to all of his millions of followers, wife of New York judge in civil case against Trump has been attacking ex-president on social media. Well, the court staff had to come out with a statement and say, no, this was not Justice Engoron's wife. This was a made-up account. Same thing here. This account at Lauren M426 is not the account of Justice Merchan's daughter. The court PR staff had to come out with the same statement saying this does not belong to her. It's a manipulated account. But Trump didn't care. Trump posted, Judge Juan Merchan, who's suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, that his daughter has just posted a picture of me behind bars, her obvious goal, and makes it completely impossible for me to get a fair trial. So it's the same pattern that we see here over and over again. He relies on, and by the way, Laura Loomer is not a fringe figure in Trump's world. She should be in all of our worlds, but this is someone who is one of the right-hand people of Donald Trump. She's someone who could become, and you could be like, oh, Ben, this is wild. She could become Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
She could become the She could become ambassador of the United Nations. She could become the defense secretary. She could become the treasury secretary. Here she is right here next to Donald Trump. She's always by his side. And here Trump basically talks about in this video, he's sitting next to Loomer, and here he talks about what a great person she is. Here, play this clip.
Hey everybody, we're here at Bedminster. I'm with the greatest president ever, President Donald Trump, who is killing it right now. There's a new poll out, right? You're crushing it. You're up over 50 points. And it's a beautiful day here. Beautiful club. It's my first time here at Bedminster.
Well, it's great to have you, and you've been really very special. You work hard, and you are a very opinionated lady. I have to tell you that, and in my opinion, I like that.
Well, I appreciate that.
all of your support, and you've been terrific, and everybody appreciates your support.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to sit with you today. Pleasure. You're the best. I love you.
There's another video of her from 2018.
Before we go to the next video, let me just tell you something. All right, give you a little inside baseball here. First of all, the only way to get to Donald's table, the only way for him to sit there and to say these nice things about you, oh, you're opinionated, but I love it, because you are flattering him. That's what everybody around him will tell you. The only way to stay in that camp, no different than Haba the Horrible, no different than, than Todd Blanche or Susan Neckles or, any of these folks, what's the other one? I don't even remember the names of the lawyers that do it. They all kiss his ass. It's all saying the same thing. You got to go on to say how rich he is, how smart he is, how he's winning in the polls. You have to call him, Mr. President and so on. It is one big giant, it's a stupid fest. And each and every one of them are playing into his narcissism, despite the fact that nothing that they are saying, one, has any relevance, or two, has any truth attached to it. Every time they speak, all you need to do is to fact check the information, and you will realize just how badly they are lying. But he's so happy. He sits there and he shakes his head. Yeah, and so on. He needs the adulation 24/7. That's the absolute epitome of a narcissistic sociopath.
Cohen, I want to ask you two more questions, then you got to give a two-finger salute. First,
it goes to Alina Habba. It goes to Alina Habba for being a fucking asshole and for basically shoving into the face of Americans who don't listen. If you donate your money to a Donald Trump, it's your money. God bless you. You do whatever you want. I think it's a stupid investment. I think it's an investment to someone who wants to destroy democracy, but it's your money. You do with it as you wish. But when you have somebody who's crying poverty every single day, like Donald is and hawking these Bibles or NFTs or anything else that he could stick his name onto for a buck, and then you're paying somebody who's completely ineffective at their job, for what reason, I have no idea. And then that person takes the money and sticks it in the face of everyone who gave them the money, right? Could you imagine this? For that, you have no choice but to give that person the two fingers salute. So everyone join me. Alina, fuck you.
Lightning round, just like we did exclusively for our members of patreon.com/political beatdown. By the way, you and I had so much fun on our last meeting. So we're going to do another one on Tuesday. What you and I should do, though, is let's do it a little bit. If you're okay with it, Cohen, I haven't run this by you yet. Maybe we do it a little bit later in the day on Tuesday for those who can't make it. Then we'll come up with a time that's mutually agreeable. I know you're super busy, but let's figure out a time.
Yeah,
for
what
the
am I only
brigaders.
doing? I mean, I'm only just trying to make sure, that I'm fully prepared for, the very first criminal trial against a former president ever in the history. And hopefully, we get that he is convicted and ultimately democracy saved. I don't know, what else can I do?
You're not that busy. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Sign up and you'll meet Michael Cohen next Tuesday. We'll see. Well, we'll see you at the time. Patreon.com/political beatdown. Here's the lightning round. John Eastman. It was recommended by the California State Bar. Colorado is Donald Trump's other lawyer, Jenna Ellis, who got admonished by them. Atlanta is where Jenna Ellis pled guilty. California, also Atlanta, is where John Eastman was indicted. California, got to follow the map right here. California is where the state bar court just recommended that John Eastman, Trump's lawyer, get disbarred, lose his legal license in 60 seconds or less. Your reaction, Michael Cohen?
It was justified. It's absolutely justified. Anybody who tries to overturn a free and fair election and wants to go along with it, 100%. It's accountability. Imagine everybody around Donald, myself included, ultimately is held accountable. This is now the very first time that Donald Trump is afraid. He's petrified. He's von Schitzing in his pants because he knows that accountability is around the corner and he will be held accountable. No doubt.
Next question. The appellate division in New York reduced the bond from $464 million to $175 million. Donald Trump has still not posted the $175 million bond. You would think that if you had that cash, why would you wait? You would post it that day. You would do it. He still hasn't posted it yet. You think he's having trouble coming up with 175?
Yeah, I don't think he has the 175, but now they're out there. They're hitting the campaign trail. They're speaking to their big mega donors, the mega billionaires that are supporting him. And by the way, most of these mega billionaires that support him, you should hear the shit that they used to talk about behind his back. The only reason they support him is because they know that they could make even more money under a Trump administration, that the White House, that Washington becomes for sale. And these guys have no compunction within not to do such a thing. And it's all about them increasing their net worth the way they did under the Trump administration by a significant margin.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Mea Culpa Blue.
Yes.
Search
now.
Mea Culpa, not red. You subscribe to the blue one. That's where the new episodes are. And if you're subscribed to the red, make sure you're subscribed to the blue. We don't do the red anymore. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. Let's get to 3 million subscribers before the election. Patreon.com political. Make sure you sign up now so you get that message when Michael Cohen and I will hold our exclusive Zoom meeting next Tuesday. Sign up now, patreon.com/political beatdown. I want to give a special thanks to all of our mods, our moderators here. They do a lot of work. They have those wrenches. They do their best to make sure that there's civil discussions taking place. They work really hard and they deserve a lot of thanks. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the brigaders. We're grateful for all of you. We'll see you next time on Political Beatdown. We're not going to do an after show today. We're going to go live on Tuesday in the Zoom. So patreon.com/Political Beatdown. Sign up for that. Thank you to the brigaders. Shout out to you. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to the Midas Mighty. Have a great one.